Hey guys, this is Blake from Blake's Sanctum, retro site for retro games. Today I am bringing to you a very different video to what I normally do, a short walkthrough for one of the half impossible missions in a game that I loved playing as a kid. Star Trek The Next Generation Echoes from the Past for Sega Mega Drive or Sega Genesis, depending on where in the world you are. This game looks very primitive now, but back in the day this was one of the best games I played as a kid because it allowed me to be on the Enterprise with the crew, flying around, going on missions, battling Romulans, and then beaming down to planets and going on adventures on planet surfaces. It was like multiple games in one. And few Star Trek games gave you that experience, and it was a few years before I found all the ones on the PC as well that do that. And I attribute a lot of them these days on my website because I love those all-in-one Star Trek games. But there's one mission in the game that was half impossible, and so even Wikipedia said a few years ago that the mission was classed as near impossible, and all the walkthroughs to date don't include this level, and it's basically a hostage rescue mission. Now, I'm going to show you how to get my map and walkthrough. You can watch this video, but if you want the files to do it, this is how you do it. You search for Blake's Sanctum in Google. If it doesn't come up at the top of the search, I've also got a WordPress blog that you can go to, and that has a link to my site. You go to my site, you go to favorite games. Down at the bottom, there's Star Trek games. A little intro into the section. I couldn't resist using this one as I love the intro to Star Trek Armada. And then you go into the Star Trek section here and go down to official things, and you'll see I've attributed a lot of Star Trek games from my childhood, including a lot of those all-in-ones that I was mentioning. I also attribute all the great fan projects out there, and I'm hopefully continue to build that section up as the years go by. But yeah, back in the official area, we've got Star Trek Next Generation. I've combined Echoes from the Past and Futures Past from the Super Nintendo into one big tribute, and I talk about what the games mean to me, how I created the walkthrough, and this is where you can get it from. In my downloads, I've got SS Nakatomi walkthrough, the maps download, and there's official walkthroughs by other people. Proper walkthroughs by other people if you're interested. But on top of that, if you want even more hints and tips and information, or you're someone who's played the game before and you just want to relive it, you can see I've done these extra pages with like full breakdowns of the ship, the characters, the cutscenes, the missions, the races. I try to cover everything and talk about it, and like where the star bases are. I give a few tips here and there, and then I've got mission-based tips, and so as you can see here, I do mission by mission for each step in the game. Each mission gets scan results, the captain's log, their away team pictures. I've made maps for each one. And so you can see I sort of cover everything, including that half impossible mining level you just seen there. That one's a nightmare. I make it easy now with those maps because no maps exist for this game. And here's the rescue hostages mission. So let's get back to and that's what you got to say to the guy to get the mission. So I cover all bases here. So let's get back to the walkthrough. And here we go. So I've switched from the walkthrough to the map, and I've got the walkthrough on a different screen, so you guys won't be able to see it in the video. But depending on your monitor setup, I'm sure you'll be able to set up whatever you like at home to make sure it's there as you play the game. But to actually get the mission, you've got to choose perfect answers when talking to this guy. A lot of people probably never even knew there was a mission here because they didn't answer the things wrong. And so at the start of my walkthrough, I tell you exactly what you need to say. And because it's this mission, it's half impossible to get to it, and then half impossible to finish it, and because almost everything you do leads to the hostages dying. It's you have to get so much right, which back in the day where you had no save whenever you want function on the console, it was just a nightmare. So that's why, as you can see, I'm doing it for emulation, and for those who wish to query it, yes, I do own a physical copy of the game. I used to have to hire it back in the day when I was playing, but I eventually sourced a copy of it. But it's fast. If you're trying to do this on the original, if you're a collector and you've got original Mega Drive and you're trying to do this this game and this mission, use my walkthrough, but all I can still say is good luck. Like seriously, you'll be absolutely struggling because it's a nightmare. And but with an emulator, when you can save whenever you want, it's not too bad at all. Especially just follow this walkthrough, follow my map, I've assigned numbers to every switch, every force field, every little block, because they're all connected in various ways, and that's the biggest confusing thing about this map. So how did I create what no one else had? Because all those walkthroughs out there did not cover this level. And I basically did it by playing the Super Nintendo version, which is very similar. There's just lots of little difference here and there, but most of the maps, like their layouts, are identical, and it's generally just things in the map that change. And so I knew that in the Super Nintendo version, this mission is compulsory. There's no conversations that can allow you to miss it. You have to do the mission. It's unavoidable. So people who wrote walkthroughs for Super Nintendo had covered this mission. So I thought, I'll do the Super Nintendo mission. I'll watch the walkthrough, follow that, and draw a map of everything that I see in the Super Nintendo version. Then I'll take that map and play the Mega Drive one and work out all the differences. And in the end, the Mega Drive level turned out to be bigger. It had sections that the Super Nintendo one didn't, and all the force-filled switch stuff was completely different. So it still took me forever to work it out. But armed with a map, I wasn't just another confused person, just going through, going, I don't know what to do next, this is all too hard. Because, I tried so many times over the years to beat this mission, never seen anyone else doing it. And yeah, like I said, it used to say in Wikipedia that it was half impossible, but they've since merged the two Star Trek console games into one page and seem to have removed some of the Genesis only stuff, sadly. But it used to say that, which I thought was funny, and also inspired me. I was like, I have to do this. I want to beat the impossible. And so yeah, I've done it, and this is how you do it. And you've got to pick the perfect away team as well. You need your two tanks, which is Data and Worf. Data can take the most hits of anyone, and Worf can take a fair amount of hits, and he can also deal a bit more damage. So you may wish to switch their roles when you're reading my walkthrough, but I still prefer to use Data, even though he doesn't quite kill as quickly as Worf, simply because he can take a lot of hits. But the important thing is to not be in control of them when you first beam in. Be in control of Riker or Geordi, because you need them to clear out the first room. So you can save Worf and Data for later. You need them to have full health, because they have to overcome a lot of stuff. And whereas, you don't want to waste them on the monsters in these opening areas. So use Riker and Geordi as cannon fodder. Just get them to clear the rooms and make sure, if anyone gets injured. In the other missions, you might be able to beam back to the ship and heal and then beam back down. You don't have that in this one. If you fail, it's mission over. Like, if one person goes down, you beam back, mission over, hostages die. So, you have to, that's why there's lots of saving and reloading. And I should point out a couple of things here. You're going to see a lot of cutting, because I didn't want to bore you guys with all my failed attempts to clear a room. My original recording was about an hour and 5 minutes, whereas you can see I've got this down to about 22 minutes, 23 minutes, because I cut out all the failures and all the times that I needed to sit there looking at the walkthrough, reminding myself of how to do it. Because I wrote the walkthrough about 2 or 3 years ago, so it's kind of handy in that it was good beta testing for me to play this walkthrough after several years, because it almost means, it feels like I'm a stranger reading this walkthrough, which meant I was able to spot a few mistakes and fix them before releasing this. So yeah, I've basically cleared out the opening area. I still need Riker for a bit longer because there's these annoying robot things here. And and I forgot to say the other thing I need to, as you probably already worked out, this is pre-recorded before commentary. Normally all my commentary is live. This is just a sort of a once-off rare thing where I decided to do all the recording and then do the commentary afterwards, simply because, like I said, so many reloading, so many things to do. There's just no point in me talking when bits are going to get cut out. So yeah, this is just a once-off, so don't start thinking all my other stuff's pre-recorded, because it's not. I sit there live, failing miserably in front of everyone because I suck at multitasking, whereas, yeah, this is just a once-off because of the situation. So yeah, I'm hunting down the robots, and fortunately they're not mission critical, they're just in the way for a while. If some of them escape, you won't fail the mission. You just got to take down all the Chodak. So, as you'll see here, I actually failed to actually get them all. One or two of them get away. And that's not great in the fact that they can move through force fields, whereas you can't. So they might appear somewhere else to bother you at some point, and that's what happens in this playthrough. I ended up getting attacked elsewhere, and I just killed him and deleted it out, but to save time. But yeah, it can happen. So try to kill all 3 of them. But if you can't, it's not the end of the world. Just be on the lookout, because you might hear them making noises occasionally. But yeah, have I pretty much dealt with them all? I think I'm still hunting at the moment. And as you can see, it's just endless corridors, and then you've got to start pushing buttons to access different areas, and this is where the map is critical. Without a map, this level is just the biggest nightmare ever. So I'm now getting to the stage where I've allocated Worf to a master switch thing, and I'm starting to take my 2 weaker guys to these awful force-filled laser shooting areas. And by doing this, these 2 will effectively be separated from the away team for the rest of the game. They won't be able to help you at the end. You just can't, as far as I know, you cannot get them to join back up with the rest of the team. They'll just be trapped behind all these lasers and stuff. But they have an important purpose, because at the end of all these lasers and switches is a set of rare switches which open, I think, the doors to the bridge area or the final areas which you need. So, and you've got to, and it's can you imagine doing this without any walkthrough? It's not fun, because you basically have to get these 2 guys to be in sync. They have to walk through these passageways in a set order, and each one has to make it through the lasers, because if you flick the switch, the lasers will start going the wrong way and they will cut you down. I think you can only take about, I don't know, 2 or 3 hits from them. So you got to do it in order. And, my walkthrough covers all the bases. It says, just flick this switch, switch back to Riker, go forward, press the switch, go back to Geordi, press the, I really do break it down so it's simple as. And, yeah, it's, there's about, actually I'm looking at the map now, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lasers fields on each side that you have to get your characters through. So it's bloody tedious, especially back when you didn't know how the switch system worked, and so sometimes you'd take casualties thinking maybe that's what I'm meant to do, only to realize that you missed a switch and you've just stuffed up the other guy on the other side of the map. It's yeah, not fun, but in the end, once you know how to do it, it's actually pretty simple. So I'm about I'm nearly there, I think. Once we see the green wall, we know that I've made it through the switch volley. I used to love playing this game as a kid. Not this mission, but some of the missions before it, where you're rescuing a damaged ship and you're beaming down and shooting at Romulans in ancient ruins, saving the Vulcans from the Romulan stuff. It's it really, as a kid, I mean, it looks very primitive now, but as a kid, this was just, I really felt like, I was on the Enterprise with the crew going on missions. It really took you into the show, because I was playing this back when I was still watching the show. It was airing with a few years delay here in Australia. And that's what I mean, years, like not months, years. So, this came out about, I think, 94-ish, and in America the series was ending by then, but in Australia it was still about, I don't know, probably still doing season 6 or so. And so, I was living and breathing the show while I was playing this game, and it was the best. So as you can see, I've made it out of the force field area, and I've made it up to the special switches which you need to get the other guys through. So I've now got to do the final bit with Geordi as well. And these 2 will just sit there at those switches for the rest of the map. They're done. Oh, and you're probably wondering, why is he shooting doors that he's not going to go through? I just like to do that. Some of the doors you do need to shoot through. Other ones are just, I don't know, they're there. I know. I guess it's my urge for destruction. It's destructible terrain, so it's like, let's do it. Let's shoot it. So yeah, if you're wondering why I do that sometimes and then not walk through it. So as you can see, flicking that switch has disabled the force field that was blocking data. Now I need to go to the other guy and flick that switch. And that'll should get down the last one, and there we go. Data's ready to go. It was at this point when I made the discovery that there was an external robot had passed through those force fields and was waiting for me, so I took him out. Hopefully that won't happen to you. It was just a mistake on my part, and I sure as hell wasn't going to re-record it. So now Data's making his way around. This is sort of preparing to get through to the final area. Once again, we need Worf, I think, to flick a switch. Yeah, here we go. And then I think after this, Worf is essentially done with the master switch, and he can start making his way to joining Data. So Data goes through there, and then I think Worf is all done here. Those other two switches are just distractions, you know, designed to trick you. I mean, they actually might open some of the other doors, because I'm basically completing this level in the fastest way possible for you guys. So there are other areas of the ship that you will never see in this video, but they are accessible. Like, I remember getting into the shuttle bay and looking at shuttles sitting there and stuff like that. I think there was, anyway. I could be thinking of the other repair mission, as I remember there was a shuttle bay in that too. But I'm pretty sure there's some cool areas of the ship that I don't go to. So now we're getting Worf through. Gotta flick some switches again. I like all that green stuff. You're obviously on some kind of walkway going over the ship's engine core or something. It looks pretty crazy. Admittedly, the ship doesn't exactly look very Federation, does it? It's apparently meant to be a Federation freighter, but it looks a bit alien, really. But nevertheless, it looks cool. I've been thinking about for a few years. I'm the creator of Star Trek Doom, if you're not familiar with my channel or my website. Once I finish that, it's like a Borg and Species 8472 invading the Enterprise kind of thing, and I took a lot of stuff from this game as inspiration, maybe even a few direct graphics for things. Probably not much, though. I take most of it from the PC versions of these. But yeah, I thought about, if I ever do finish that map, which I hope to in the next few years, maybe doing some kind of sequel based on this game, on some of the missions. Because I look at a lot of these textures and they're pretty basic. I reckon I could just take them out, put them into a Doom texture wall, and up them a bit, and take lots of screenshots of the monsters to get all the movement frames, and make some monsters, and then make basically a first-person shooter version of this. It'd be pretty funny. Pretty fun. Maybe it'd be funny too. But I mean, the puzzles in this game are just all basic Switch stuff, which is of course what Doom does perfectly fine. So yeah. That's just an idea I'm throwing out there that I've been thinking about for the last few years. But anyway, so this is the big challenge. This is the big moment we've been leading up to. This is why you saved Data and Worf. You have to clear multiple rooms full of Chodaks. And so there was a lot of saving and reloading here for me, because even though in some cases I defeated the Chodak, I took too much damage, and I knew that I needed more health to get the job done. In fact, in the end, my goal was to get Data to clear out the 3 rooms that you can access filled with Chodak, and then saving Worf until the very end to take the bridge. In the end, looking at the way how Worf kicked ass, I'm thinking maybe I could use Worf to clear out the final room of Chodak here, and then I wouldn't have needed to reload it so many times to make sure Data made the distance. But nevertheless, hindsight's a wonderful thing. You can, perhaps learn from that mistake and have a go. And like I said at the start of the video, you might want to consider switching their roles, because Worf can take some hits, just not quite as many as Data. But I do like the fact that he seems to be able to kill the Chodak quicker than Data can, which of course means they get off less shots at you. But yeah, so this room, now I actually stuffed up here. You'll be noticing on the map I've noted that there's 2 Chodak in this room, but there's actually 3. And I'd put 3 Chodak down in the bar, which I'll be heading to next, but there was actually only 2 in there, so I got that wrong way around. So I've updated the walkthrough, I've just got to update the map at some point. So if you're wondering what's going on there, if you spot that mistake, that's another little mistake that I found through beta testing. So I actually got a bit of a shock here. I was like, yep, I've cleared the 2 Chodak, no worries, let's move on. And then I got shot at by another one. I'm like, oh, crap. That's probably the other reason why it was best that I didn't do live commentary. There was, if there's any Trekkie kids watching this, Uncle Daniel said a lot of naughty words starting with F and S and C, and yes, it was best that we didn't do live commentary while I was repeatedly dying in these rooms and getting injured. So now I can watch myself, thanks to my wonderful editing skills, looking like I was just did this level perfectly and kicking ass, and so I can be all calm about it now. But I've cleared 2 of the 3 rooms now. So of course I come down here thinking, oh no, there's 3, but I've just done the 3. There's only 2 in the bar. It's also possible that the Chodak can open doors, and they might have actually moved around. And but I think it's probably more likely I just made a mistake a few years ago and I've corrected it now. But you never know, because the robots can certainly move around. You'll see I just shoot at nothing a lot, and the reason that is because the phaser goes out beyond what you can see. And it's there is a limit, it's just I'm not quite sure how many, shall we call, squares on the grid, the movement grid, away that you can still shoot a Chodak without seeing it, because I've brought them down multiple times in the past. And that's how the robots got through, because I thought I'd killed them just outside of the screen. Sometimes you don't know, because of course there's no bodies. They just vaporize. As you can see, things got pretty close here. Data, I died a few times doing this one because data was so low, and but I got there. I cleared out all the rooms. You've done your duty, Data. Well done. So now, oh yeah, I think on the original Mega Drive you could move characters diagonally, but it doesn't seem to be working through emulations. So I'm so sure that I used to be able to do that. So yeah, I. Sorry for the awkward walking, there's just stupid problem with emulation. I'm so sure that that was not an issue with the original version. So, now that I've cleared out the room and flicked the switch, I should be ready to take the bridge. So we're going to drop Data off in a sec, and I think oh that's right, no, I have to go through this door and then I think I'm climbing through some kind of vent thing, essentially. And then I'd leave Data. That's right, so I think that switch disabled that force field there. You walk through here and we're nearly there. The formerly impossible is about to become possible. And another force field. Yeah, switch probably disabled that as well. Or one of the other switches that you had to press at some point. It took me forever to figure out the order, but I got there eventually. So here comes the exciting part. Worf's going to take the bridge. So he got him pretty quick. That surprised me. Because that was actually first attempt, I think. And I think I got another one. Yeah, pretty easily there. And then the final third one. Would have been cool if on the view screen they had the Enterprise or something, but it's just a big blue thing there. Got him. And that's it. I saved it though, just in case. Oh no, another one. My bad. There we go. I remember the absolute relief when I first saw this, like for the first time, and I knew that I'd done it. I could not believe it. I was like, holy mackerel, I've actually done it. I would suspect there's actually not that many people in the world that would have done that. There'd be a few. Oh, well, there's no way I'd be the first, as I've seen other people say that they've done it. But yeah, it'd be a small percentage of the the thousands of people that have played this game over the last 20 plus years. It wouldn't be that many because it's a nightmare, and I made it look easy there because of course of all the editing and the walkthrough. So that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video.